Good evening. Starship is going to fly any second now. We'll be having updates on the fly. In the news tonight, the people who gave you Air Canada now want to give you SUVs on the moon. What could go wrong? We'll have an update. The Pentagon is reforming its acquisition process. Russia has delayed its moon and Venus missions again. Blue Origin was commissioned for a study to transport cargo from orbit to Earth by the Defense Department. We have a chart showing what actually powers in energy the Earth today. Hint, it's very carbony. And so as far as Starship goes, it's going to launch any second. They have maybe the machine to build the machine. Now we're going to see any minute now whether that machine itself really works. From the news desk at the Center for Space Commerce and Finance, my name is Thomas Andrew Olson, and this is The Unknown Quantity. Okay, as you know, this program is brought to you by the Center for Space Commerce and Finance. And what do? We champion and strengthen emerging space startups and space-adjacent enterprises worldwide with advisory, access, and advocacy across the funding spectrum. Our program is supported by business plans and investor readiness. And a lot of our work, especially this podcast, is supported by our listeners and fans like you. So if we just go to cscf.space/support and click that plain as day donate button, little on the chip dart each month makes a big difference. Now, welcome now my longest space friend, whose favorite game is Monopoly because he likes to build empires, Michael Lane. And there he is. There he is. How you doing, man? And we're still on hold at 41 seconds.
We are. Tick, 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 tick. Explain that a little bit.
Yeah. It's like I've had this thing going on. I've got a second screen to another computer just off to my right. And so I'm just watching this thing on the fly, not flying yet, but it's still any second now. Now they have some people talking in a little pop-up window. So I don't know. It's holding until it doesn't. So I guess, how you doing, Michael? How was your day? Do you hear me? He's nodding, but he's not hearing me.
I'm good. I'm having connection problems. I think it's the split screen.
Okay.
I've got SpaceX off on the left and you, but neither one's working the best we can. And if I have to, I'll turn off SpaceX. So not quite ready. But
I've got my thing on.
Am I coming through?
Yeah. Yeah, you're fine. When you're talking, yeah, you're fine.
Is it coming through loud and clear?
You just kind of froze up a little. Now you're fine. Now I hear you. Now I don't. Okay, so I've got a different situation because I just turned it off. SpaceX feed on a completely different computer with the sound turned off. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm not watching it now, so hopefully they hold for an hour because I'm not watching.
Now they're showing stock footage, so I don't know what's going on with them. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, for those that are just joining us and catching us on Spotify at exactly 5 o'clock on the West Coast and 8 o'clock on the East Coast, SpaceX has decided to launch their newest Starship and at kind of concurrent time. So Tom and I and most of our audience, we know we're all nerds. We're all trying to watch the SpaceX flight, but it's on hold. It went on hold with 40 seconds to go, 40 seconds on the clock.
Yeah,
we don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be news here in a minute, but so we're going to just go on with the show because the show must go on.
Absolutely.
And we'll try to keep y'all updated as it's happening.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
That's what's
All
going
right.
on.
So what's going on? Well, I guess there was something where was that the Canadian government? Where is my thing here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Canadian government wants to go way off road. Announced this week it's going to invest, well, so far a whopping 14.6 million. Doesn't seem like a lot. They want to develop a vehicle that can drive on the moon. And they've ordered 3 contracts to 3 Canadian companies are going to conduct studies and develop technology options to get a lunar rover on the moon. And Canada Instance Aerospace, MDA Space, and Mission Control. And they're tasked with creating a proposal for a lunar utility vehicle. So an SUV on the moon, they'll call it an LUV. But the concept is the same. So I thought that was interesting. But the interesting part was, I mean, it's a fun little article, but it's on a website called Auto Trader. It's not even a space
isn't that kind of wild? Right. I was going to point that out. Like, how did we rate Auto Trader? Right. That's kind of a big deal. Yeah, I was a little surprised by that as a source. I'm like, where did this come from? And how did it not show up in my 9 other space feeds? Right. But I thought it was pretty cool. $14 million, which, as you say, is not a lot. But I do want to kind of point out a couple things. So MDA and CAC, I can't pronounce it, Canadensis, whatever that is. Yeah. It's those are kind of the Lockheed Martins and Boeings of space in Canada. Right. Those are real major corporations in Canada in their space program. And I'm pretty sure the MDA is the folks that were behind the McMillan Detweiler and Associates, MDA originally. Yeah. I'm pretty sure those are the folks that built the Canada arm.
Yeah.
So I mean, they definitely have chops. They have longevity. I've always found it kind of funny that I was talking to a student a couple of years ago that genuinely actually believed that Canada built the International Space Station because the only branding they ever saw was the arm. I mean, that's brilliant branding. Yeah. But here's the thing, right? They took on the arm as ISS, and they got really, really good at robotics. And I'm wondering, as a nation, national goal, if they are now trying to go say, hey, what about transportation? What about mobility on the moon? Maybe that's the thing we need to get good at and just specialize.
Well, you got to realize the Canadian, that arm did not start with the space station. It started with the shuttle.
Right.
I forgot that. A couple of decades. Right. So that's been around for a long, long time.
Yeah. Canadarm. You're absolutely right. I forgot about that. Yeah. So I kind of wonder if they're like, oh, what are all the parts that we could be a part of? We talked a couple weeks ago about the 2 European countries. I think it was Bosnia. Was it Bosnia?
Yeah.
Was it Serbia? That we're working on the Czech Republic and Bosnia, I think it was, that we're working on laser communications. Like that's what they want to do, is get good at lasers and laser comm. And every country is kind of picking out their piece that they want to co-develop. So I think that's kind of neat. I'm kind of excited about that. And my hunch is that this is the beginning of a lot more.
Well, it's good we decided to start with the news and just do our regular show tonight because our buddy Dr. Ajay Kathari just chimed in from LinkedIn. He said Starship was scrubbed due to weather, and they may try tomorrow.
Oh,
that's why I'm seeing this SpaceX logo with Mars in the background. They just cut the feed entirely.
Yeah.
Sorry. So sorry. Well, there you go.
Drat.
All right.
Drat. AJ, appreciate it. They scrubbed yesterday at the last minute. yesterday marked a month from my mom's, heart event. And so I went over there and we
Yeah.
kind of celebrated a little bit. And she's doing great. She's doing terrific. But we celebrate. We kind of, but I'm like watching the clock. I've got alarms going off. I'm like, peace out, Mom. I got to go home and watch a rocket launch. So she knows where my heart really is. And it's scrambled to get home because she lives a long way. She lives over an hour away. Scrambled to get home and so I could watch it. And then I pull into the driveway, turn on the computer, and scrubbed. So that's 2 days in a row. So that's really frustrating.
Yeah, so this is your fault, actually. So that's what you're saying.
Yeah, certainly.
Oh God! Sean is full of commentary on this too. He said, "Yeah, they're going to upgrade their windshield wipers."
Yeah. All right. Well, good thing we chose to stick with our regular scheduled programming because we were thinking about just doing a live play-by-play like everybody else does.
And we would have ended up looking like a couple of real toads if we'd done that.
Right. All right, let's move on. So that's Canada.
Okay,
what else we got today?
This is something right up your alley. I hope you saw this and can say something about it. Apparently, is this from Breaking Defense? The Pentagon is terminating their JSIDS process as part of acquisition reform. Okay, what does that mean for the rest of us?
What does that mean?
Acquisition reform.
All right.
I gave a speech. I gave a talk about acquisition reform in 2005, I believe it was. They never invited me back,
right?
Because I had the big heroin needle, coming out of the screen, and so
right.
People still remember that.
Sure, yeah. Look, it's as dull as watching paint dry, but at the end of the day, when NASA puts out a request, when Air Force, Space Force, National Science Foundation, DARPA, they always operate on what's known as requirements, right? Somebody at the top decides this is the future. These are the things that we need. And, I've read Dr. Mosier's requirements documents. They're called Science and Technology Forecasting or whatever the hell that thing is called. The chief scientist of Space Force actually let me read some of his early notes and comment on them. These are really high-level policy documents that then, in the military's case, they get filtered until it gets down to the captains and majors who have to act on those requirements and then send out requests for proposals, and everything gets diluted and all the audacity and ambition at senior levels get watered down by the time it gets to the majors and the captains. And so you keep getting what you've always gotten.
Right.
And by changing this acquisitions process, maybe, fingers crossed, it's going to make some changes. And I'm going to reference, if I can find it. What the hell was it? I thought I had it queued up here. Colonel Felt, former director of architecture and integration at the Office of the Assistant Secretary of Air Force Space Acquisitions and Integration. That's his whole title. Long title. He just retired recently. He retired on a Friday, and the folks at Starcatcher, the space-based solar power company, hired him on Monday. Yep. That was about a month and a half ago. So he said, the move gets at one of the key problems bedeviling acquisition reforms for decades. Quote, there are three processes that are broken: acquisitions, requirements, and budgeting. All three must be fixed if we want to move faster and detour China. This memo takes a sledgehammer to the second problem, the requirements bureaucracy that had become the pacing process for many new programs. Right. So, again, it seems dull, but it is actually at the very core of how programs of record become programs.
And that's what shocked
that
Yeah, that's
requirements.
what shocked
It's
me.
hard.
That's what shocked me in there very
Yeah.
early on in the document. It says the Joint Requirements Oversight Council, there's another group, oversees the
Mhm.
process. They're actually going to stop validating component level requirement documents. Let that sink in for a
Yeah.
second. They were validating component level requirement documents. How
Yep.
many billions of
Yep.
components do contractors produce every year for the military industrial establishment?
Yeah.
And they got a council
No,
that's
it's
overseeing
crazy.
every single one.
Yeah, the level of the level of just paper pushing was extraordinary, and really, did it add any value? I just don't know. Right, I'm not at the big giganto companies like Northrop Grumman or Lockheed Martin or Raytheon or Boeing, that maybe a missile component process tracking probably does need to happen, but not everything needs that level of
Right.
scrutiny. So it's a step. Here's my prediction. I'm gonna go on the limb, and I'm gonna kind of speak to Sean, who always asks 5-year and 25-year goal predictions. I think very little will be obvious in the next 5 years, but it will release a little bit of creativity into the system. Whatever has been filtered out might leak back in. But I hope that it simplifies the process of all of us on this side of the equation that want to supply to that side of the equation. That's my hope.
Interestingly, and maybe in some of this streamlining, would that also end up then with a little bit of riffing here and there?
I doubt it, because seriously, they'll just move to a different group. The red tape that is operating this system will just probably glue up some other function. I don't think things like this stop. I don't see personnel reduction based on something like this.
I asked because I just learned today. I was reading an article on another topic. I realized within the halls of the bureaucracy, there is actually a level below dead wood. It's called petrified.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you get rid of the petrified wood?
I don't know that.
All right.
I've lost a lot of confidence in our system in some really important ways. So it's hard for me to buoy up a system like that.
Yeah, it's true. So next up, there was something in the Moscow Times today. It said, I guess Russia has been delaying their Moon and Venus missions. They had missions. They had a mission to the Moon, I think it was next year, and a mission to Venus in 2034 or something, or 35, and they've pushed those back to now 2028 and 2036, according to the head of the Russian Academy of Sciences. This is and the point interestingly, the point of the Luna 26 orbiter, they're supposed to search for suitable landing sites. Right. And Venera D mission was going to study Venus's extreme conditions and search for signs of simple life, perhaps in the upper atmosphere, where it might actually, live.
Well, I know that our friend that we just had on the show the other day, Guillermo, is probably disappointed by the Venus cancellation.
Yeah.
But seriously, did anybody think this was actually going to happen? Because nobody on this side of the Atlantic did. So mildly disappointed about Venus. Would kind of like to have Russia in the game. I think them spending money on the Moon is a way better use of funds than going to invade their next door neighbor. So I'd rather them focus on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. The dying needs to stop. It was interesting. And I just thought of something. It was just about that, the last thing about changing the the procurement, thing.
Oh
Because
yeah.
Trump did another one today. He made some. Seth was in the room with him. He was talking about some stuff. He says, why don't we just call it the Department of Defense? Maybe we should call it by its old name,
Department of War.
the Department of War.
Uh-huh.
Because it seems like every time when we were in the Department of War, we were winning everything. But since we changed it to defense, we haven't won shit.
Oh man. I don't agree with a lot that he has to say. There are some things, though. I'm not totally against calling it the Department of War. I'm actually not.
I'm not either. But his reasoning was just.
I'm a Marine who is a pacifist to a point. To a point. And I kind of do like the Department of War as a part of the nomenclature.
Yeah, it's kind of saying, you don't want to wake these guys up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think Russia has gotten that message. I'm not sure that China has. Right. Yeah. I'm not sure that China has got that message.
Well, they're doing a lot of aggressive stuff. They're playing around. I mean, they're playing around.
It seems like it.
Little feint actions with Taiwan.
Yeah,
but they were down there in the South China Sea. They're down there by the Philippines.
Yeah,
and messing with people. Come on,
I actually use the Spratly Islands example in my pitch decks to defense people. Like, do you want what happened in the Pacific to happen in cislunar space? Do you want that militarization build up?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a good idea. So yeah, I'm not against calling it the Department of War. We're kind of a little off topic here, but I feel like that would definitely. It's not saber rattling anymore. It's like reminding them that we have a saber.
Right. Yeah. It's not rattling at all. So here it is.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah. Right, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Here we go. Sean's yelling at us. So okay.
Yeah.
So I guess Blue Origin got a contract to study. I think it's from the Defense Department. Yes, for the Pentagon. They were out how to transport cargo from orbit to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's about time someone was paid to study that. I'm glad it was, Blue Origin. I mean, I'm sure they have ideas in that regard.
Okay, hold a second, because SpaceX was already paid to study that, and they canceled the contract. That goes back almost 5 years, and they canceled it during the bro dudes huff at in Washington D.C. Right, like Trump was angry at Musk, and Musk was angry at Trump, and surprisingly, a few days later, a contract got canceled. So SpaceX had the original study. I hope that Anduril and Blue are able to kind of pick up from where we were, but SpaceX was about to land their ship out, in an atoll way south of Hawaii, way south of Hawaii. So I think this is good news because it kind of spreads the field a little bit, but giant step backward for this capability.
Oh yeah, of course. And remember, these contracts are tiny. They're like, 2.37 million between them.
Yeah.
So, but you get a good paper study out of it and actually show some real tech that could be used, but also, as they say, is a strong signal as to which players will later compete for larger dollar funding.
Right.
So there you go. There's a message there.
We just mentioned Colonel Felt a few minutes ago with the Air Force Research Lab. He actually ran AFRL that this program was under originally.
Yeah.
Colonel Felt got himself promoted just before he retired, so that's why he's in DC. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I want point to point. I think point to point is like our next logical step.
And they talked about that a lot. Actually, Elon was with the pre-launch crew there in the booth earlier, about an hour or so ago, and he was
Mhm.
talking about that. They had a lot of conversation about point to point. It's 20 minutes or 30 minutes to anywhere.
Yeah.
And it only takes
Yeah.
about 4 minutes to cross the Atlantic at this point. So it's like, okay, yeah, sign me up. Let's do
Sign
this.
me up. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
okay, I tell you what. I mean, we're getting yelled at to get. We need to get going. Let's end with this image that you sent me. What powered the world last year? And I think it's kind of important to look at this because,
Yeah.
as I said in the beginning, it's very carbony. Um,
Carbon.
the total energy supply for planet Earth last year was 592 exajoules. Now, what's that? That's the equivalent of 174 million barrels of oil. Well, of all the energy burned last year, oil was 34% of it, coal was 28% of it, natural gas was 25% of it. Can you do the math on the fly there?
Yeah. It's a lot.
Nuclear is only 5%, hydropower was 3%, and all other renewables put together was 6%. And so we have a ways to go before we can turn off the taps, I guess is what I'm saying here.
Right.
I just saw some
And you talk about it is important, and the reason I sent this out over was, look, space-based solar power promises the future, and I totally believe in space-based solar power. I that was how I got started in space. You've heard that story 38 times.
Yep.
I love space-based solar power, but this gives you a description of just how far you have to go.
Yeah.
Right? Nearly 600 exajoules. I can't even process how big that is. 174 million barrels of oil, 174 million times 600. That's a lot of power.
That's a lot of
So
stuff to be tapped.
I might be
or
excited
pumped
about
or
space-based
dug out
solar
of the
power.
ground.
It's not going to change the equation. Not anytime. Not anytime in the foreseeable future.
And
So that's
it's just it's a reality check.
It is.
It's an
I
absolute
sent this
reality
on
check.
purpose. I sent this on purpose. It's a
Yep,
reality
absolutely.
check. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. Let's introduce our guest for tonight. The end of next month in Sydney, the center is co-hosting an elevator pitch competition event along with the Space Generation Advisory Council and their event, the Space Generation Congress, which is the 25th through the 27th of September, just a few days before the IAC, which I'll be attending as well. And we'll be doing a couple of shows from Australia while I'm there. I'll be there 10 whole days. So that's gonna be fun. But here to discuss this upcoming event is the project groups coordinator for SGAC, Marcelo Boldt, to talk about what he and the amazing team he's helped put together are doing to make this event a success. Marcelo, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a bit. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Michael. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Happy to be back. How are you doing, guys?
Good.
Great.
Good.
Great.
Awesome.
So how is it coming together? What are you guys doing?
Well, where to start? We are doing actually so many things, so many things, and the tip of the iceberg or the most immediate goal is basically the competition we have in common, the startup competition. That's gonna be an amazing event. It's gonna be a very dynamic event. Everybody's welcome. We have applications coming from all over the world, I would say. And yeah, I guess it's up to you, Thomas, to tell the audience a little bit more about it.
Okay. Well, we do have in fact, we have a link for that for
got it
the
right up.
application for the pitch event. There it is right there. And so give folks that link yet again. If you are a young entrepreneur, a young professional, you plan on attending these events in Sydney anyway, probably, and you're under the age of 35, you can apply for this thing. And so what's going to happen is you will get a chance to do between a 2 and 3 minute elevator pitch to your space business idea. We want to get as many as 10 finalists to compete. And at the end of it, the judges will decide which 3 entries are the best presenters. And we're also going to have a kind of a live public vote in the audience for kind of an honorable mention for audience favorite, and see how that works out. That's going to be fun. But the top 3 winners are going to receive a micro grant from the center sponsored by the Barth Family Office for $1,000 each, no strings, just like we've always done. And so I think it's going to be a great amount of fun. And we still have a lot to do to put it together. We're talking about doing streaming. Uh,
Yep.
we'll see how we put that together. I'm still researching how we're going to put it together. Michael, you and I can talk about that later, and Sean, because Marcelo asked us if there's a way we could handle that.
Yeah, we've Marcelo, we've done 3 business plan competitions virtually during the pandemic days. So there is a mechanism to do that. I think we'll be able to figure that out. Time zones might be tricky because y'all are way ahead of us on that side by the time this thing happens. But yeah, there's probably a way to do that. I thought it was always interesting to do virtual business plan competitions because you could kind of enlarge the audience and how they would participate. So that does add a little bit of color and flavor. It adds some complexity, but it's all manageable. So you should assume that's probably going to happen.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's the main driver. We are really excited to be co-organizing this with you guys, and we are already discussing the live stream, and we have so many amazing ideas. I think it's going to be a blast.
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, good. Well, I was going to ask Marcelo to actually, since we're talking about it, this is an event within an event, which is Space Generation Congress. I thought you, Marcelo, could tell us a little more about what the Space Generation Congress is and how it works and who attends and what you do besides our event. You got 3 days. I mean, what are you doing?
It's I like to describe or to define the SGC, the Space Generation Congress, as the prep for the ISE, the Super Bowl of our industry. So the SGC basically gathers students and young professionals between the ages of 18 to 35, and we have a really nice a range of activities for them. We have working sessions sponsored by companies. In the past, we had the Lockheeds, the Airbus, and whatnot. It's also very dynamic, very cultural driven. So we encourage the delegates, so the people who are attending, to basically share with us their culture, where do they come from, typical dances they perform at their countries, or even like special food they might, let's say, traditional or typical food they might enjoy in their countries. So I think it's an amazing experience. And for some of us, myself included, it was my first experience within the space industry, sorry. So it holds a very special place to me, actually. And then you have, as I said, you have the Super Bowl. So you have the IAC, which is going to be, it seems that it's going to be one for the record books. It's going to be amazing as well. Sydney, I think, is typically an amazing city to host events. It's very dynamic, very vibrant, and Sydney combined with the space industry is going to be something amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I have to admit, I got lucky. I managed to book a hotel that's almost geographically exactly in between the SGC venue and the IAC venue, and they're both walking distance.
Perfect.
So this is that's great for me on those days. So you have about 100, 150 delegates or so probably sign up for this thing. Where do they generally come from? Are you, for example, I was going to ask you this because I thought, are you getting any extra interest from the local area, like Oceania and Asia this year?
Asia Pacific this year is the main driving force, I would say. However, we always have people from Europe. We do have this year some like a small community, as far as I can tell, from Africa, which is super exciting. I always like to, what I always love about the SGC is the different perspectives it brings, right? So you have people from Africa, myself, I am located in Germany. but then you also have American audience, then you also have Asia Pacific. But this year is mostly going to be driven by Asia Pacific. So India you will have as well, but you can expect people from Malaysia, Australia, New Zealand, Philippines.
Cool.
It's going to be very, very crowded, I would say.
Good. That's good.
One thing that is important about this competition, I don't know if we said it out loud, is open for everybody. So
Yes.
delegates, people attending the SGC, of course, they are welcome to participate, as well as people who are not delegates. So typically, the people applying and moving to the final round will get a half-day pass, so they can attend the SGC, they can see what it's all about, and hopefully we'll get them excited for next year.
Yeah. We also spread the word amongst one of my cohorts who's been on this show is Jason Held, and he's an American guy who lives in Australia. He runs something called the Fish Tank, and he also runs an accelerator called the Wolf Pack, and he's spreading the word amongst the folks that participate in his programs there in country, and we're hoping to get some folks from among that crew to go ahead and sign up and apply. And we always wait till the last second. Right now, we've tentatively set a hard deadline of September 8th to get your application in. But of course, what happens is it doesn't matter when you set the deadline. Everybody waits until the last second.
The last second, right?
It doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, what stage your company's in. You could be 58 and you'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable to me, the experience we have with this. And I remember for years, especially for the virtual ones that we did, I was just sweating bullets over this. We wait till the last second, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, I used to have like 4 applicants, and now I've got 9.
Yeah,
and it happened within the last 24 hours.
Like, yeah, every single time.
Do this to me every time.
Yep.
This is how we are wired.
And so
right?
I fully expect them to do it again.
Yeah. So, Tom, talk about maybe some of the criteria. We're not going to do a boot camp like we often do for our other business plan competitions. So talk about some of the criteria, some of the expectations, because we do a vetting process before we put them up in front of the judges. So it's kind of a 2-level filter. But what should people look for? What should people submit on? We've got business people on this show that are going to be in Sydney there. So what should people look for? What should they prepare for their competition?
That's interesting, and I can bring Marcelo in on this because his team came up with these things. Because normally, as you know, Michael, when we do a BPC, we basically divide it into 3 buckets. It's basically
it was a loaded question. I know the answer.
I know. Yeah, I get that. It was space related and space scalable. We just basically defined it very loosely. And space scalable can be anything. It can be nanotech, biotech, whatever. Well, they've got all sorts of people studying all sorts of different things, deep within the hinterlands of SGAC, and he wanted to get the whole crew in and says, well, what do you guys think about this? And they came up with actually 10 what they call buckets of ideas that they will that you can apply on for one of those. So why don't you speak to that, Marcelo?
Yeah, I mean, I am the co-coordinator of the project groups. So the project groups are basically small entities in itself that they are focused on a specific area of research within the space industry. So when we were organizing and when we were discussing with Thomas about doing this, we said, hey, we have so much people basically putting a lot of effort on commercialization of space medicine. We have even diversity and equality project groups. So as you can see, we have a very, how can I define, a very broad spectrum of the entire space industry. So we brought them on board and we asked for their suggestions. We said, okay, guys, what are the areas that you see, let's say, most trends or let's say most developments within the space industry? And they came up with 10 areas. So we have anything between AI, lunar economy. We also have space sustainability, so space debris and so on. It's a very, very interesting combo, I would say. I think if you have in the link, Thomas, to share with the audience, you will see the 10 buckets we basically developed for this year.
Right. If you go in, if we go back to the application form that's
Yeah.
on the center's page,
Sorry.
you showed it earlier.
Yep, I had it earlier. There we go.
Yep. And we scroll down a little bit, and there they are.
We go.
There you go.
So these are all the things. That's a lot of stuff. That's open to just about everybody. You could take almost anything and put it together and make a space type of company out of that. And we do that too in different ways. But this is really good, and it's very specific and detailed, and I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to emulate that, but it's like I like seeing it. So
yeah. I'm particularly interested in on-orbit services, manufacturing, data, and AI. I think those are the ones that I'm interested in. Fortunately, I won't be a judge. I'm not going to be there, so I won't have my bias won't count. But I think these are super cool, and I'd really like to see a whole ecosystem, a whole network, kind of be born out of this initiative. I'm excited about this a lot.
Right.
For sure. If I can add, I would really like to see human spaceflight ideas. It's a topic that I think is so inspiring that it would be nice to have a few ideas basically pitching in the final on the 25th.
Yeah.
Now I just found something here. I've got just tons of material that the center uses, and we did come up with this a long time ago. It's kind of I need to send this to you, Marcelo, so you can look at it later. Just an idea of what we use as a standard judges form.
Right.
We also use it in part as kind of a filtering system for applicants to come in. We use the same kind of metrics, so we're consistent on it. And basically, it's just a form where I have a bunch of different questions, and you can rank the applicant on a scale of 1 to 10 how well they fit within the parameters of that question. And so, for example, does the elevator pitch convey all the info? You can rank them, 1 to 10 based on that. What does their management team look like? What's the depth of it? What are their management team's backgrounds? Do they have experience in the same or a similar industry? Are they highly speculative? In this case, they'll be highly speculative. They won't be proven quantities, so we're not going to use that one. Do they find the competition well? That may not matter at this point, so we're not going that deep. This is an elevator pitch, but how they stand versus the competition, they may not have taken time to flesh that out. But their technology, their technical solution, does it seem reasonable? What the risks are. We're not asking them for pro formas or an operating history of financials or any funds raised to date. This is purely a pitch, for a new thing that they've never done before. And so obviously they'll be thinking, well, what's your gut feeling? What would the gut feeling of a Silicon Valley angel investor be? That's right. That takes a little more experience, but and of course a big one, just the applicability to space is going to be a big one. You can lose a lot of points on that one if you're not really, because that's happened to us. We got, when we were doing a lot of micro grants, sometimes we get applications for people who didn't really understand what we were trying to do and gave them some off the wall thing, had nothing to do with space. And we say, thank you for your submission. We're a space thing. Please don't do this again.
Right. You're
That's good luck to you and your endeavors.
Real estate development in Sacramento. Good luck to you, but we're not interested. Right. I mean, it happens. It happens all the time. I mean, constantly. So, we try to be really clear about this. What can they expect? Are they going to be on stage? How much time? How many people are going to be up there? Or is it too soon to tell that answer because we don't know who's going to be there yet?
It's really an issue of goals versus reality.
Yeah.
And so the goal is to get 10 individuals or teams to do their elevator pitch. We'll see what the applications look like that come in. We may end up with 6 or 8. Maybe
and
we'll give
reminding everybody, they have to be present to pitch. We're not doing virtual
you have to
pitches.
be present to win.
But just to clarify that, yes, we will be broadcasting the show, but if you're not there on person with a pulse and fogging a mirror, you cannot be in this competition. Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So what does that look like? So maybe 10 people. Is that 3-minute pitch and 3-minute Q&A for 60 minutes total?
Probably 3-minute pitch and 1-minute Q&A at best. That gives us 40 minutes if we're really tight about it. That gives us a little bit of time before to introduce what we're doing, introduce the judges. They maybe sit there like a panel. Well, we got this panel. They also happen to be the judges. So Marcelo's going to be one of them. I've invited Jason Held to be one. I've also invited, he hasn't answered me yet, Shoaib Iqbal. He is one of the guys who won one of our virtual competitions.
I remember him.
Ago. He was from Esper Satellite Imagery in Australia.
Yep.
And now they're writing business all over the place and bringing in money. And they got a launch coming up this week, I think.
Talk about a testimonial. Talk about a testimonial to the business plan competition.
And that's why I want him on that panel.
Build it, fund it, launch it, did all those things. So
that's it.
Good for them. Yeah.
I'm just going to be your humble host and MC, and I might even bring the hat. I don't know.
Bring the hat, man.
It's part of the brand now, what can you do? So we'll have people in the room. We're going to figure out something. I don't know if it'll just be a physical piece of paper, or we can come up with some kind of, nice, interesting app at the last second, which would be for the audience to be able to punch in what they think is the best pitch of the day. And then the judges will sit there at their table, with the mics turned off, and they'll be just figuring out who's got it on the fly. Right. And then right in the last 5 minutes, we're going to announce it and have the winners come up. I'm going to hand them a physical check right there. The Center's logo on. Yep. So real money in hand.
That's not a bad ROI per hour, right? Show up, give a presentation, wow some judges for 3 minutes, answer a few smart questions, cross your fingers.
That's
pretty easy. But the standards are high, right? The standards are high.
Well, we're going to show them what the standards are like. I mean, this is the first time we've done something like this at an SGC.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of, even though they think, these are the guys that came up with these 10 buckets, but we're the first ones saying, here is a real world, simulation of what a quick Silicon Valley pitch would look like.
Right.
And how that works. And so just like the business plan competition, it's kind of the same thing, just at a higher level of detail.
Yeah.
Because you have maybe 6 minutes to do a pitch, but you also have 6 minutes for the judges to, hound you for a while and really take things apart. And that's why we usually have a boot camp with things like that. Now, something, though, I wanted to mention, we talked about this, Marcel, you and I, we talked about actually between the time we actually select the finalists and September 25th, we want to do at least one overall Zoom meeting with everybody.
Exactly.
And we might have them, try out their pitch right there in front of each other. So it'd be kind of an immersion thing, just to get an idea of what you're up against. And then, okay, see you on Monday, or the 25th or whatever it is. Boom, we're out of there.
We have to keep it dynamic. We have to keep it interesting. And we also have to keep it, unexpected to see what is their entrepreneurship power,
Yeah. And that's why I think it's important at least to have a minute for a question. You're giving your pitch, you've rehearsed your pitch, you've made your 3 minutes, and now Shoaib asks you, well, what about this? And I know Jason's good at this too, so it's like, okay, you should think of that, and just to see the look on the face as it's being streamed live around the world.
That's going to be super fun. I want to point out, what the center has been super effective at is our whole business plan competition and the kind of the steps through it and the filters. And once folks get to a certain level, we assign them a mentor and they go through that process. We're not doing that with this. This is much lower key, still important, but much lower key. But I do want to kind of point out on the application page, there's the submission process. Let me pull it back up here.
Yeah, we simplified that a lot, by the way, in case you noticed.
Yeah, I did actually. I was going to point that out. So on the application page, scroll down to the bottom. Here's the application. Super easy. We do recommend taking a look at this executive summary to kind of have like a fair shot. Do yourself a favor and know what the heck you're doing, right? So this isn't a requirement, but you probably want to know what this is before you fill out the application. Because this is kind of how folks are going to evaluate the pre-approval steps.
Right.
So I'm going to post.
Normally you can do. We have a big text field there to put in your basically type out your elevator pitch, as you want to say it. But we also leave room. It's optional. It's not required. If you have a one pager that you want to put together according to that executive summary thing, and you want to upload that, it's you're free to do so. It is not required, but you can.
Right.
So just so you know.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Marcelo, I know you're going to be leaving here in a quick minute. What time is it for you? It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Almost 3 a.m.
Okay, almost 3 a.m.
It's a bit late, yeah. But
all right, buddy. We really appreciate that. Stick with us for just another couple minutes. We'll get you out of here on time. Promise. Is there anything else you want to kind of add? What do you want to see out of this? Why are you doing it in the first place?
Well, my main interest is to, let's say, to spread the entrepreneurial spirit in the space industry. I think it's the most important thing. I think, to be honest, I grew up watching people like you guys, like Elon and so on, and the whole lot, and that's what made me actually get into this industry. So I want to share that with the audience. I want to share that with everybody, especially with the young students and young professionals. Definitely.
Yeah, and you came through all of this, and you're a space engineer in your own right, and you've worked at some interesting places,
Yes.
And to get to this place. And you also, I guess, you're also now part of the Space Entrepreneurship and Investment Committee at IAF, and so we'll have that meeting. Right. We'll have that meeting later in the following week, and I'll see you there. And so
we will discuss some interesting things, I hope.
Yeah, so. Right. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Nice. Okay. Very promised last question. What do you see the next 5 years and the next 25 years of SGAC and space in general?
Oh, that's well, let me start with perhaps the least difficult one. I think SGAC is gonna continuously grow. It's been a very interesting development in the last few years for us. We had not so long ago something like 15,000 members. Now we are a little bit above or a little bit shy of 30,000. That's in the last maybe that's in the last maybe that's 3 to 5 years.
Jesus,
exactly. It's just amazing. So I would really like to see, and my take is that we will continue growing. Now the space industry is in a very interesting position, I would say, with everything that is going on around the world, with the geopolitical landscape we have. I do see space being more and more into defense, more embracing the dual use side of things. Well, you have for example, several magazines or digital newsletters that now they shift their focus from commercial space to defense, or they also offer the defense side of things.
Yeah.
So at least in the next 5 to 10 years, we will see that. And hopefully in the next 25 years, we will see more like lunar economy. That's what I'm really hoping for.
Yeah.
Right on. Thank you.
Well, I tell you, I'm hoping this event helps us build a great relationship so the center and SGAC can do even more together in the future.
Yeah.
That's really a part of why we're doing this. So
yeah, of course. From my side, you always have a supporter.
Absolutely. Okay, Marcelo Boldt, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me back.
We'll stay in touch. We have a lot of work to do, and I will certainly see you in Sydney.
All right, guys.
Take care, man.
Pleasure. Sleep well.
Yep. Well, we got a couple minutes, Michael. That's going to be fun. Right now, as usual, it's that thing where we've put out the call, and I've gotten like maybe 2 applications already.
Right.
And so it's going to be. I got to wait another week and a half and start sweating
just
before they'll come in.
Waiting.
Come on, man.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. That's how it works. I'm excited for it. It's kind of fun to see SGAC grow up.
Yeah.
I was in my middle 30s when I started working on the elevator, but I didn't hear about SGAC until I was almost 40 and I had aged out. Right. So I was never officially a part of SGAC, even though my ISU chops kind of puts me as a honorary guest member of sorts. But yeah, super excited to see them. I had no idea they had grown as big as they had. Yeah. In a way, I'm going to guess that the pandemic helped them because they were not anywhere near 30,000 people 5 years ago.
Right.
No.
Right.
No.
I heard about them actually the first international, the first IC I ever went to was in 2002 in Houston. But the next one I went to was 2008 in Glasgow. That's when I heard about SGAC. And it was all because they were having a party, and Will Watson, who was our executive director at the time of the Space Frontier Foundation, and the guy called me up and said, "You got to come to this thing, man." It's like, me, God, I'm more than twice as old as everybody else there, but okay. I'll do it. Oh, it was an absolute gas. I met all these young kids, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, and of course, there's only Will Watson knows how to do it.
Right.
Well, that period there between 2008 and about 2015, that period was just legendary.
Yeah,
for parties into the dead of night, but talking about everything space. It's all these are wild conversations that happen.
I think the marker for that starts a little earlier, 2004, 5, 6. Some of those parties were legend, but that's another topic, and we're not going to out our friends that way.
Right. They all have kids now and stuff. They're selling. So
we got mortgages
now and lives.
Some of them have senior leadership at organizations. Yeah.
But I can talk about it because I'm old enough not to care anymore.
Yeah.
So then you too, really. So
on.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I guess we're gonna call it a wrap. I've got. Unless you have something to say, you got something to say?
No. Okay. Let's SpaceX tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Starship.
Fingers crossed. We as of today, we have no guest on Thursday because you never know what the future may bring. Mm-hmm. But if nothing else, we will gather for the usual hearsay, gossip, innuendo, razor sharp commentary, and the usual tomfoolery. As always, 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay, man. From the news desk at the Center for Space Commerce and Finance, my name is still Thomas Andrew Olson. Keep watching the skies.